Hello and welcome to SmarterSundays. My name is Omar.
I'm Nick.
And
And
I'm...
And today we have a special guest. It's Zach Bell. Zach Bell is a computer information systems major here at Wentworth. He's interested in everything from pop culture to the future of technology advancements. Today he helps out around Accelerate, student government, and the new film club coming this summer, as well as doing VR around the school and in different parts of campus life. Say hi, Zach.
Hello. I can say it now. I have permission.
Today's topic, we are going to be talking about the Grammys, because that's going to be tonight at, when is it tonight?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock
Yep.
tonight. We are very excited to see what's going to be happening with them. And let's get into it. We'll get started with some nice basic questions that I think Nick should know the answer to for some of them. So Nick, who is hosting the Grammys?
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah, which is odd because I don't know his name, Trevor Noah, but when I look him up on Google, I recognize who he is. He's a decently well-known comedian, I think.
Yeah. Very. And the other thing about Trevor Noah that I think a lot of people like is he was one of the only late night hosts to transition to YouTube during the pandemic well.
I was just gonna say, and successfully.
Yeah.
Most of them tried to transition, all of them failed because they just don't know how to.
They either had a creepy white background or it was in their home in a weird corner. But Trevor Noah figured out how to do it like every YouTuber. Even the editing style was very close, and I think that was all at his direction. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's also, I would vote that because Trevor Noah is relatively younger compared to a lot of late night hosts as well, and a lot of the older people don't really, they don't really understand the flow of YouTube, which is very, very different from late night.
There's a generational disconnect for sure.
A very big generational disconnect. Yeah, I do remember hearing about that because everyone tried to do that, and Trevor Noah was like really the only one that got popular. But then didn't it change and it started to become kind of again because he got bought out by someone or something?
No, he went back to doing close to his normal late night routine because of the rollback of certain regulations at the studio and whatnot.
Oh, really?
So I think that was the controversy, was people liked the YouTube style enough to keep him doing that, but the studio was like, no, we want you to go back to the old way because that's how it was. And
then he did it, and then it's not as popular.
But it gave a lot of people their jobs back, so
that is true.
Yeah. Give and you take.
You know, one other late night host I watch on YouTube is Last Week Tonight. I don't know, I just really like his comedy style that he does. The jokes I feel like are funny, and it does it in a good way. That's really the only other late night show host I would watch on YouTube.
Yeah, I think late night started from now this is pre like Gen Z, pre our generation, but doom scrolling is nothing new, and late night came out of the primordial soup of news that makes you hate the world and yourself. And it was supposed to distill that information using comedy so people could still say well informed, but they didn't hate everything around themselves by learning what's going on in the world. And the thing about that is Trevor Noah transitioned that very well when it comes to the world that for a while got even worse. And so people like to see that again. But I think it would be interesting if we were still in peak COVID, how the Grammys would be if they were in Trevor Noah style, if they were a YouTuber award show or something.
They wouldn't. They postponed the Grammys.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in an alternate timeline or universe, if they
would
just
never
did it.
make it like his YouTube channel. They would just do it like the Pullman like broadcast type thing.
Yeah.
It would be like
pre-recorded and sent.
It would be like the very first YouTube Rewind. I don't know if you remember that one.
YouTube Rewind used to be great. Now it's a tragedy.
Well, it actually started kind of bad as well too.
I think the last one wasn't it just like a Watch Mojo video or
Basically.
like a glorified PowerPoint. Yep. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and then we already talked about when the Grammys are. The 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. That's in Eastern Standard Time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
So, Nick, I have a question for you. What goes into nominating music? How do people decide who wins?
I feel like what goes into nominating music is based off of like not necessarily one thing. I feel like it's based off of multiple. I feel like a lot of things just like like what story does it tell? Like, is it actually catchy? Will people like actually get with it? I feel like it's similar to like what we talked about last week with the Oscars with movies, where it's like basically not everything is the same. Like, you actually have to tell a story in order to catch people's attention. I feel like it goes the same with music. You can disagree or agree, but that's how I feel.
I would think that the music that is the most catchy and people can sing about and know the words to is gonna be the one that wins the most. Like, yes, there are some really, really good songs that has a story. I will agree to that. I love a lot of good songs with good stories, but the most popular songs are the ones that are just a catchy tune that you can listen to.
Which is why Omar didn't want us to have a rap category for this, apparently.
I don't think Owen just didn't want it. I feel like Owen just dislikes.
Yes, but everyone has a bias. Anyway, jokes aside, basically, how someone is crossing his arms. For our audio listeners out there, I'm going to steal something from another podcast. Love you to death. Omar is currently crossing his arms and fuming. So, for category wins, jokes aside, I mean, for category wins, the idea, like any award show, is the most votes. That's about it. And so, similar to something, let's say, like the Oscars, people who have people who have connections in certain industries or even within a subgenre or within an industry are likely to win. They tend to host parties and things before then. The labels do, so that they win a Grammy, and then therefore they get more attention from winning that Grammy. It can sometimes be great, sometimes be a little corrupt. We'll see. But hopefully it's really this year about who deserves it. And it's not just a catchy tune. Hopefully it's people who have tried to tell a story through their music. But you never know.
I think I deserve the winning for my awesome music.
Okay. A remix, Omar, of the Sweden song from the default Minecraft soundtrack does not count.
No, I'm actually talking about music I made.
I know, I'm screwing around.
I don't actually know. What song?
The default song in Minecraft is called Sweden. It's literally just called Sweden.
Oh, okay.
So that one that everyone has nostalgia for, that slow piano tune.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do, do, do. I don't know how it goes.
I don't know either, but it's fine. So...
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. A lot of people have hosted the Grammys. It ranges from singers to actors to comedians. Why do you think this variation happens? Who has been the best host, do you think? Now, I don't know how many Grammys you've actually seen fully all the way through.
For hosts, you necessarily don't even need to watch it. You just have to listen to the news.
Fair, kinda. But like, everyone has their own opinions, right?
No, I know, but I'm just saying in order to like know like who's hosting and like what they like do if like they're a comedian, if they're a singer, like you really just have to listen to the news.
I mean, a lot of people are very biased towards like Alicia Keys or LL Cool J.
I don't know who those are.
So
both famous singers. LL Cool J is also an actor.
Both famous singers. I can't speak. But Alicia Keys had
I know Alicia Keys, I think.
Yeah,
have you ever heard
Alicia Keys had what the Rolling Stone is called big stoner mom energy. And
Omar,
you
have you heard the song "Girl on Fire"?
Yeah.
That's Alicia Keys.
That's what I thought. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I think people know what the song is.
The other thing is...
Also, you're way too fast on that.
I'm not slowing down and re-singing that for you.
It's fine. You don't have to.
Zach's just like, why right here?
But Alicia Keys is, again, she's known for her, like the Rolling Stone put it, her big stoner mom energy. And she really brings that kind of fun, almost like Snoop Dogg vibe, but mom to the Grammys. And so she's one of the favorites. Now she did 2019, but yeah, still one of the favorites, at least for me.
Alright. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this is the first Grammy I actually put effort into knowing about. I personally was never a huge fan of the Grammys because I don't know. I just never liked them. Most of the music that I like doesn't appear in the Grammys, unfortunately. So never had the interest to watch it. So, but Trevor Noah, I think, is gonna be a good host. I don't know. I like his comedic.
He also hosted them last year too.
Did he do good last year?
I didn't watch it.
Me neither.
I was too busy doing studio work.
Yeah, I didn't end up watching last year's.
I'm always busy doing work. That's a school. School is school is school. But why do you think you changed from singers to actors to comedians?
Well, I think one of the basic reasons is there's a lot of overlap. If you think about the ones that we just mentioned, like LL Cool J or Alicia Keys, both of them, even the whole like Big Stoner Mom energy thing that I just mentioned, a lot of it is a part of that culture, right? There are a lot of comedians who will go into singing careers. There are a lot of singers who will go into comedy careers because they start with one, they build a platform and see what their other talents are. I think like anything, similar to like movie actors, there's a lot of overlap and people like to branch out after they've gotten successful or become successful in one thing or the other. So.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, this Grammy is actually a more special Grammy time because the Grammys has actually removed about half of the categories that they typically have. They removed about half of them, and so now they're half less the categories. Why do you think they did that?
Nick, you want to take this one?
To be honest, I think it's because of the numbers they've had with viewers. Because I think a lot of viewers are mostly focused in on categories they like and also the major categories that everyone looks forward to seeing. So I think it's just on a basis of time. Because I feel like if you go too long, you're going to lose viewers because they're going to get too bored with it and not want to wait for like their categories to show up. And I think they basically just looked through the categories they had, picked the most important, and then said, we're just going to do this and not take as long.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just because I think they realized that most of the categories, like you said, no one really cares about, and so they're not going to spend the money or time to host those categories. You know, it saves time and money, and also make it shorter means more people are willing to watch it. Because otherwise the Grammys are like, how long are the Grammys?
Generally about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of varied over the years, but it's around 2.
But generally, like, it'll say, like, if you go on, like, a guide on TV, it'll generally say about, like, 8 to, like, 11:30 or something.
Yeah.
That was at least with
Which
the Oscars.
is really long, especially for a TV show. Like, I mean, nowadays...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like most people will not be like, okay, I'm going to stay up 3.5 hours just to watch one of my favorite awards get, presented. I feel like it's on a basis of just having to, like... pushing it to a point where it's too much, and that's why they want to bring it down.
Here's a really good comparison. You know in high school where you had to sit in the auditorium when they were doing like awards or something for different students for the best writing on
junior and senior year where awards ceremony.
And I never got an award.
Best writing for this, best whatever for that. The problem is, at least in high school, what I'd be doing was playing Trivia Crack on my watch because it was boring. No one wanted to see it after a while. Everyone felt one way or another because either they didn't get it or their friend didn't get it. And it was always dragged on way too long, and it always went over the allotted time. So award shows have always been... in any setting, awards and award shows have always been a little bloated, so they probably are just trimming the fat a little bit, which can be sad for certain artists in certain categories. But
I like that you said Trivia Crack on your watch, because that's the most Zoomer thing I've ever heard anyone say.
You're welcome. High school was great.
I don't know. I didn't like those award shows. I was so bored, and then I just stopped clapping halfway through because I get bored of clapping. Though there was one award show where I did get an award. Only reason I knew I got an award is because they sent a letter out saying, "Hey, you get an award." It's like, oh, cool. I have no idea what it was for. I do not remember. But I was like, cool. But I remember back in elementary school, they used to have award ceremonies, but everyone got a participation award. I remember that. Anyway, so let's move on to major categories now, which includes Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best New Artist. Okay? So, Nick, who do you think will claim the Best New Artist? There are a few very popular names in this category.
I definitely think just because of the popularity that they've had, definitely probably Olivia Rodrigo.
Most likely, yes, because I actually like a lot of her music. I think she has a great voice.
I just think because of like all the aspects that she gives off and just how she performs and everything, because I've watched some videos of her live performances on YouTube. I think she just has the aspects, like the whole image of like what the future artists that we're gonna see come out later. Like I just think like she has that image where it's like this is the future. Like
the only one I watched live is the Late Night Show live of Good For You. That's it. That's the one. Which is a really good song. I like that song a lot. Do you not like it, Zach?
Say the song again.
Good For You.
Yeah, it's a good song. I know. I mean, Olivia's had some controversy. I know, like Adam Levine defended her, but she's had some controversy with plagiarism and other things in Good For You, which is why I hesitated for a minute, because that was one of the ones that she didn't always give credit to the people who helped write it, etc.
yeah, wasn't it helped by like not Taylor Swift, but
I don't remember, but she never gave credit to anybody.
Well, no, the
there was
reason,
some,
or at least
famous
at
name
first.
that
the
was-
reason why Good For You has controversy is because it has the same tune as Misery Business by Paramore.
That's what it was. I knew there was a famous name that was like controversial with.
No, there was also the controversy with Joshua Bassett and that kind of stuff.
I don't know about that.
Well, like his family and his mom got death threats and other things because she, how fans can get really wild, and the fans and the stands for Olivia Rodrigo like went hard. It's give and take. Like I said before, some of it was because he never spoke out on it, so everyone assumed that Olivia was right, and etc. The point of this whole thing is not to talk about the gossip. I'm just saying that she's had her share of ups and downs in the past 2 years, really, because since 2020, that's when a lot of these controversies and stuff have started.
So then, who do you think will win the Best New Artist?
I think Olivia Rodrigo will, if nothing else, for Driver's License. Driver's License was such a catchy song, but I think it was also one of the more creative and relatable ones overall concerning high school drama. And it
I never
appealed
had
to...
any of that.
Hmm?
I never had any high school drama because I was a loner in high school.
We'll be right back after this break. I'm just fucking kidding. Yeah, so high school was an interesting time for a lot of people. I went to an international school, so the drama was even weirder when it was.
Wait, what school did you go to?
Tianjin International School.
Oh. What do you mean by weirder?
It was just broader, I guess. It involved people stepping around different cultures to the maximum, and sometimes language issues between someone thinking one person said the other but didn't. Relationship drama between people from different countries could also be weird. So
yeah. Alright, moving on. In the category of Record of the Year, we have some new faces such as Olivia Rodrigo, who we were just talking about. There are a lot of well-known faces as well, including Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Lil Nas X. Do you think this clash between old and new artists creates a large competition, or is there one clear winner in this category? Nick, you start.
Oh my! I've started on a few. How about you start?
How about Zach start?
no, I talked for quite a while. I think
All
Nick
right.
can start.
I've started on a few questions. Omar, I don't think you've started yet.
Yeah, Omar, go ahead.
I'm the host. I'm guiding.
It's actually co-host Omar.
Says the one.
So who do you think will claim Best New Artist?
Yes, Omar. Who do you think?
There are very few popular names in this category.
This few updates, I just don't really like a lot of the artists besides Olivia Rodrigo. I don't like Justin Bieber. I don't like his music. I don't like Lil Nas X because I don't like rap. And Lady Gaga used to have some good songs, but
I don't even. The funny part is though, I don't even consider Lil Nas X like rap.
I don't either.
he
He's just
has one good
He's
song.
like catchy R&B.
Well, he has one song that I know, and that's Old
Town Road.
Yeah, that one.
Old Town Road.
Old Town
Yeah.
Road. And I don't really like that song. It was played to death.
Yeah,
And then they
it
beat
really
a dead
was.
horse.
Dude, oh my god, the remixes though. You gotta admit that controversy was really cool
What
because
controversy?
the controversy over Old Town Road when it first came out.
Yeah.
What controversy was there?
So basically, he was told he couldn't be in the country category, even with the country-esque parts of it, until Billy Ray Cyrus?
Billy Ray Cyrus?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Came to his aid and even like did a version of the song with him to, I guess, countrify it more. But the accolades behind Cyrus helped him get into that category, and it was really interesting. Like, why can't it be hip hop and country? Because people in the country music scene in Asheville really gatekeep what can and can't be country, and so basically he broke those barriers. It was pretty neat, actually. to
So,
watch.
new category, hip country.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing now.
Yeah.
And it's because of him. There are songs released after. They're not as well known, obviously, as Old Town Road, but he did create a whole new indie category.
Alright, Nick. Your turn.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I kind of think it's literally probably gonna be either Olivia Rodrigo or probably Lil Nas X, just because of popularity with Montero. And because I feel like the other few artists have already had, like Lady Gaga, yeah, to this day is still very popular, but like I feel like Gaga and Justin Bieber have already had like their sort of, not necessarily like stardom, but their spotlight and fame. So I kind of think they're almost just like, yeah, they're like popular names, but not necessarily up there to really claim this category.
Alrighty. And then Zach a little bit if you want.
Honestly, I think Olivia Rodrigo and Glass Animals. Let's see, Olivia Rodrigo, Glass Animals, and Lil Nas X probably have the closest chance to getting Best New Artist. I know. Let's say Japanese Breakfast is kind of interesting. It's one of the. It sounds weird, but it's one of the Korean American bands that's really like breaking the mold. I think it comes off the popularity, especially with college students, like high school and college students, of city pop, like Japanese city pop, and they're making modern versions of that. So, in my opinion, Japanese Breakfast has a chance, but I think they're a little too small and niche to win the award, but they have a chance. Other than that, that's about it.
Alrighty. There you go.
So Zach, in Album of the Year, there are a lot of songs that share a name with the title. Do you think there's any song that is a clear winner? Or any album that could be a clear winner? Why do you think artists choose title tracks as album names?
I don't know if there's any album that's a clear winner.
I think Sour.
Sour could be, but I still don't know.
Kind of her is okay. I mean,
Yeah.
And almost all those songs, I really only like 2 or 3 of them. But Sour, I like more of the songs.
Personally speaking, I think the reason that artists do that is because that's their flagship song. That's the one that they want to be known for. Record labels want them to pump out as many songs as they can get to fill up an album, and artists are always pressured to feel like they have to, which is why you've seen, especially indie artists on the rise, release singles more often, because they want to get it out when it's there. They don't want to have to wait like 10 years to get their music to people. So I don't know, it depends. Sometimes artists also feel the pressure to write songs that are, to meet the demand of the amount of songs that should be in an album, they feel like they have to write some shitty songs just to get a level of a number of tracks in that album. So I think that's their way of showing this is the one that I want to represent myself. I made an album. I did what they wanted me to do, but this is the song that I want to represent me. So I think it's about the culture of it.
Do you think that naming the album after that song name increases their chance of winning?
If that's the one that becomes a hit, yeah. And if you've noticed, a lot of the time, yes, there are sleeper hits and other things, but it's usually the song that they named the album after that becomes the hit for one reason or another. So, in a sense, yeah.
So in Song of the Year, there are some familiar faces such as Ed Sheeran. This is the only major category we see him in. Do you think this was purposeful?
I think because artists like Ed Sheeran, they're not exactly the old guard, but they are like the 2010s guard. And that...
Are you saying Ed Sheeran was 2010s?
Yeah.
He definitely was.
Ed Sheeran was
because
very...
I went to a concert in 2015. It was for like a major like present to like all like me, my sister, and a few of my cousins. Our parents got us tickets to Taylor Swift's Red Tour, and he opened, and that was in 2015.
Oh, Red was so good.
I think Ed Sheeran is just
the remixes were really good.
I think the reason why he doesn't appear in a lot of the categories is because I feel like he's starting to just decline in popularity a bit. And I think other people are overtaking it into the songs.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I mentioned the whole 2010s popularity thing, because he is the guard of the 2010s. So I think everybody knew him, at least in our generation, like middle school, high schoolish. And
so like, are you kind of like saying like what I mentioned earlier with sort of like they've had their period, now it's like sort of
someone else's time?
Yeah,
like
they've had their
time. Peak, and now it's like
they've had their time in the spotlight, and some of it is Ed Sheeran was sort of before the advent of TikTok's popularity, for one, and it's kind of interesting because TikTok now controls, in a sense, who gets popular in the music industry. I don't think Ed Sheeran evolved with that. No one's using his music for sounds, for instance. I think that's part of it, is he didn't evolve with social media the way that other artists do or are right now. For instance, a part of Olivia Rodrigo's claim to success, and even to a point, I think Japanese Breakfast, is because of the fact that they were on TikTok. They allowed their stuff to be used as sounds and even remixed and jokes and whatnot. So Ed Sheeran just didn't jump on that train very soon.
He did try to, though.
Yeah.
I do see a few of that stuff on TikTok floating around here and there, but it's not very popular. He really did try for a bit.
It's more of a blip, unfortunately.
Oh well. So, there are a few artists, such as Olivia Rodrigo, nominated for top 3 major categories. Do you think they could actually take all 3 categories?
Similar to what Adele has done in 2011 and 2015 with 21 and 25.
Honestly, I think it's possible because of Olivia Rodrigo's rise to fame, and I think, controversies for better or for worse, all press is good press to certain people. It did push her even further to popularity. It actually made her, stream levels on Spotify and other platforms higher. I think it's possible. I don't know, but I do think it's possible. At least for Olivia Rodrigo. Lil Nas X maybe is the second closest with the chance.
So with Montero
and some of his other recent work. Yeah.
Yeah, the album's like his song Montero is the same name as the album.
Yeah. I think he has a chance. I think those two have a chance, but I can't see anyone else getting that.
So, that leads into our next question, because...
Which you already sort of gave an answer to.
Which you already answered. Justin Bieber, Doja Cat, Lil Nas X, and Billie Eilish all have top 3 major category nominations. What are their likelihood of that?
I think
Again,
Billie Eilish might have a chance. Lil Nas X and Olivia Rodrigo definitely have a chance. Doja Cat, in this example, I don't think she has a chance. While she's popular, she's again had her own share of controversies, including some racist issues from her past. But in Doja Cat, yeah, that was a thing. For audio listeners, I'm getting looks, but it was a thing. The other part of that is she kind of boomed to popularity on her meme song Moo. She's known for having weird drunk and high Instagram live streams, stuff like that. So she has an audience from different walks of life is the point. But the problem is I don't think her music is up to par with being able to sweep all 3 categories. Again, I think Lil Nas X and Olivia have a chance. Billie Eilish, maybe, but she hasn't had a song that, in my opinion, is new enough or relevant enough in the past year to meet that.
Sort of an additional question.
Justin Bieber's just a no.
Yeah. Sort of like an additional question to what we just asked. Do you think Happier Than Ever has a better chance at winning a Grammy than her initial album that included Bad Guy would?
no.
I think Bad Guy is
better album.
Yeah.
Than Happier Than Ever, in my opinion. And I don't know if you tuned into our show last week, but we talked about the Oscars. And we talked about what makes a good actor in a movie. Do you think that in order to be nominated for all 3 major categories at the Grammys, you need to have a storyline in your song, maybe some emotion? What do you think?
Or do they always have to have like a catchy tune? Do they always have to be catchy? Like, what's your opinion on this?
I think it's a popularity contest in a sense. It's not something that when people vote for that they immediately go there because it's popular, but the majority of votes do sometimes. Well, yeah, the majority of votes do end up that way. It's popular and therefore they want it to win, or it will win just because it's popular, not because of the quality of it. So it depends. In this case, it's quantity over quality most of the time. It's the quantity of people who have seen it and like it versus how good the song actually is. Like, there are plenty of, for instance, rap songs that I love the beat of, but the lyrics make me feel like brain dead sometimes. So it depends. And there are plenty that I like the lyrics of, but I don't like the beat, right? So it's the same thing either way. I think it's going to be just quantity over quality. Quantity of votes over the quality of the song.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. So we are going to head into our first music break. And when we get back, we are going to be talking about the song and album categories. Alright, and welcome back. So we are now going to be talking about song and album. No, not song and album. Which one is it? Yeah, the song and album category. This also does not include record, album, or song of the year. Only the song and album categories are on those. Alrighty. So, Nick, I have a question for you. Artists like Doja Cat, Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, and Justin Bieber have nominations in the top 3 major categories. What are the chances of them winning the best pop vocal album with so many other good artists, such as Ariana Grande, competing against these great artists?
I feel like with pop specifically, it's just like one of those types of music that's like everyone sort of gets into. So I feel like this is based off of, I feel like it's more or less based off of popularity. If I had to say, probably Olivia Rodrigo, just because of how popular she is right now. But like, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like other artists such as Billie Eilish and Doja Cat probably do have a chance at this. But yeah.
Alrighty.
So Omar, what do you think?
Well, I think it could be Ariana Grande because her vocals are very good compared to a lot of the other artists on this list, and I do think Ariana Grande could take it.
How about you, Zach?
I mean, again, Olivia Rodrigo is probably one of my biggest bets for this right now.
Are you Olivia Rodrigo stan?
I do like Olivia Rodrigo. One, because my best friend and I, our favorite song is Favorite Crime. But that's just because we turned it into something positive. The song is usually depressing. But, yeah, so I have a little bit of a bias towards that. But I do think, given the popularity of Olivia this year, we're probably, and the resurgence of it lately, we're probably going to see her up there.
Awesome. So, in the best dance / electronic albums, we see some well-known DJs such as Marshmello and Major Lazer have nominations. In this case, is the more well-known you are, the more likely you are to win. Well, I personally believe yes, because dance and electronic typically aren't the most popular type of genre. That's the word I was looking for. So I do think the more well-known you are, the more chance you are to win. And I think Marshmello is just way too well-known to not win. Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like with electronic or dance specifically, I feel like it's one of those types of musics where it's like, if you don't sort of jump in right away, you're not really going to get noticed.
Yeah, I mean, again, David Guetta, Afrojack, those kinds of
Wait,
things.
what'd you just say?
What's up?
You're
Oh,
looking
sorry.
at the question above that.
I'm looking at the wrong question. But in general...
Well, no, but what did you say? David and his last name again.
David Guetta.
Guetta?
It's Guetta.
David Guetta.
David Guetta.
I've always said David Guetta. It doesn't really matter.
I think it does.
In the best dance electronic album part. So to that question with Marshmello and Major Lazer, personally I think Major Lazer has a big chance, but Major Lazer is also more of a collective than just a DJ. Major Lazer has become more of almost like a label themselves. So I think Marshmello always has a chance just because of how popular they are. It's going to be hard if you're a lesser known electronic artist to sneak in there. I think that this has happened in the past with other award shows with artists like Deadmau5, but then when their popularity went down, it allowed for the rise of others. So yeah,
So my point too with you saying like Marshmello has a great chance or whatever, like if you go all the way back to 2016 with him releasing Alone, like that was labeled one of like the biggest songs of that year. Like for like a good example, I feel like that's what I mean by like you have to like sort of jump straight out there or else you're like basically done.
Yeah. It's really rough in the dance electronic category just because of the fact that it's cutthroat, right? It's very hard to win unless somebody steps down from their pedestal.
And then going off that, for the best dance / electronic recordings, there are famous faces such as David Guetta. It's Guetta.
Mm-hmm.
Guetta, but yeah.
Guetta.
Oh wow, Omar, say that again. You're wrong.
Hey, mine sounds more close than yours did.
Well,
it's Guetta.
Mine
It's
was
Guetta
a fair.
with an E, not a U.
Hey, mine was a fair guess.
Well, first of all, mine's a Connecticut accent, so.
Mine was a fair
Fair point.
guess phonetically. So
Have you never heard this artist before, though?
yeah, I've heard the artist, but
Like
I've never had this.
Summer, I think.
I don't go
That was
out
Calvin
and
Harris.
talk about his
no,
name.
the other one.
What?
The other one. No?
Summer was by Calvin Harris.
No, the other song.
All right. Well, Omar has egg on his face. I'm going to reread the question. For best dance / electronic recording, famous faces such as David Guetta and Afrojack.
Good job, Zach.
Also with the popularity of Tiesto's The Business. Do you think a new B has a chance of winning?
So, Omar, let's ask you.
That's not
because
how you
you're
spell newbie.
Whatever. You knew what I meant.
Anyway, I like The Business because it's a good song.
Mm.
When I heard it, I kind of played it on repeat.
Omar's review, 10 out of 10. I like it. Good song. All right, let's go.
And also, repeats
played
it so
it on-
none of us can actually have a chance to listen to something different.
I played it on repeat.
Oh God, Kevin's music can accelerate.
Yeah, it's very close to Kevin's music. I actually don't like Kevin's music taste, but he plays it anyway. What?
If Kevin listens-
Omar,
Kevin
let's
lis-
go. Omar's based.
If
Alright.
Kevin listens to this, be careful when you
It's
come
just
to
that-
accelerate.
Well, he knows I don't really like his music all that much. I don't. It just
Everyone, no one
No
likes
one
Kevin's
does.
music. Because he doesn't know how to make a playlist, for one, and two, he just keeps letting it play and without listening to what's actually playing.
Also
And also he blares the music. It feels like there's an earthquake in Accelerate every day. Anyway.
Anyway, but The Business is a good song. I listened to it on VP for like a week straight. It was great. And then
Yes, I know you did.
David Guetta, pretty good. I do like some of his music. I need to think of the actual song, but I can't think of the song right now.
What, with David Guetta?
Yeah,
David
Mama.
Guetta, the only one that I remember
that one.
from David Guetta anymore is like Titanium.
That's the one he
that's
should.
what I was thinking of.
Titanium is the...
That wasn't Afrojack though.
No, that was David Guetta.
Yeah, we're talking
No,
about David Guetta songs that I like.
He said David Guetta. But
Do you think I said Applejack?
No, I thought you said what was the one with him and Afrojack.
Oh no,
they have worked together.
they
but,
did.
David Guetta's Titanium is like the last song that I even listened to him from, and considering that I do like the dance electronic category,
He's produced a lot of other more. Oh God, please don't.
yeah,
say
he's gone more into the producing side of it than actually like making his own music. It seems like
Which is
anymore.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
which
he's
is
had
fine.
other hits back then with Titanium that have come out too. Because he's had Without You with Usher. He's had
Without You
Turn
pretty
Me On
good.
with Nicki Minaj.
Look, at least it's not DJ
I don't
Khaled.
like Nicki Minaj.
At least it's not DJ Khaled because all he does is say
DJ
Khaled. He doesn't do anything. He's just I don't know.
It's actually
Yeah.
very funny.
'Cause he's
Anyway,
also
how about
had-
you, Nick?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I already said that. I already gave
Alright,
my
I wanted to
opinion.
make sure. Okay, so there are some famous faces up for the best rock song, including Weezer and Paul McCartney. I think I pronounced his last
McCartney.
name. McCartney. McCartney.
McCartney.
There's
You
a lot
said
of newbies too. Who do you see is taking this category? Well, I really only know Weezer.
Have you never heard the Beatles?
Paul McCartney is one of the
I don't
most
listen to them.
famous
I listen to
names
Weezer,
in
so
music history.
literally.
what?
Paul McCartney was
is
the
one of the
lead
most
singer of the
famous
Beatles.
names in human history.
I don't know. I don't recognize it.
Beatles.
Yes, he was the
Is
lead
that
singer of
from
the
the Beatles?
Beatles.
Yes, he's
What?
he's literally from the Beatles.
He's the
Well, how
lead, he
am I
was the
supposed to know
lead
that?
singer of the Beatles.
Well, then why do you put Weezer and then Paul McCartney? Why don't we put Weezer and Beatles?
Also, why did you keep saying newbies?
Well, because those names I didn't recognize.
No, but newbies is
You
not
spell it
spelled
like
like that.
newbies.
Can we not call me out here and just pay attention to this?
No. So he spelled newbies, N-E-W space B-E-E.
Okay, well, sorry that I'm not autocorrect, Omar.
You can
could
Google
say,
it.
You could say there's a lot of cross pollination in these questions.
No more dad jokes.
All
The
right,
only one who can make
thank
dad
you.
jokes is Nick, but that's because he looks like a dad.
Fair.
I could say so many bad things right now.
Like a frat dad, maybe, but not. I don't know.
Nah, he
Anyway.
was special to be a fat dad.
Who do you see taking this category?
Omar, let's stay focused here.
Weezer. Let's go. That's it. I don't know who else is in this category.
I don't know. Paul McCartney has a really big following. Weezer does too, but Paul McCartney, again, one of the most famous names in human history. Not just music history. So, yeah, I would say a lot of newbies have a chance too. Just because of the fact that while both of those aforementioned names, so Weezer and Paul McCartney, are popular, they're making way just like every other music category for new people. So I think other people have a chance. New people have a chance.
Alrighty. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty. So, as we were talking about before,
E, all of the above.
And as it's pretty well known by just 3 of us, Olivia Rodriguez is a favorite for most with the categories she nominated in, including Best Pop Vocal Artist. We will see possible bias and see her take all the categories she's nominated for. Will we have an Adele repeat where it's a sweep of all 3 major categories? Kind of already covered
Again, we kind of already covered it.
But like the more or less the thing is because it's a best new artist, you haven't really necessarily seen best new artists nominations take major categories such as album, song, and record. Do you think there is a chance with being a best new artist?
Yeah,
Are you eating a lemon or something?
Yeah, your face was just like
His face was like he's eating a lemon.
Best. I think it's possible.
Was that lemon too sour for you?
All right.
Ooh,
All
that's
right.
good. See, he does the good ones. You can't do it.
Omar, don't make me roast you again. Olivia Rodrigo has a chance. I think, again, we've mentioned this before, but I do think there's going to be a slight bias and have her take all the categories. It's just because, again, she's very popular. Award shows tend to be popularity contests. But it is what it is. Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be an Adele repeat, but like we mentioned before, she definitely has a chance at doing it just because of how astronomical her rise was to fame.
True. And as you know, Dolly Parton is up for Best Digital Pop Vocal Album. With a singer that is notorious for being country, how do you feel that a country singer is nominated for a pop category?
I think people try things all the time. Think of Taylor Swift. Everyone hated her when she was a country artist. Most people hated her when she was a country artist, myself included. I don't care about country at all. The twang, all of it, it sounds...
Twang?
Twang.
Yeah.
It's a thing in music. It sounds the same. The problem with that is she wasn't able to get very far with her country career. But when she switched to pop, she exploded like you've never seen. And Kanye got pissed like he always does because he's a child. But it was really fun because Dolly Parton, I think, is trying something similar. She's trying to branch out because she's well known for being Dolly Parton. That is to say, like, how do I put this?
I don't actually recognize
Plastic
Dolly
surgery, among other things.
Have you ever seen the old show Hannah Montana?
Parton. Yeah.
She was in that. She was the character that had the massive amount of blonde hair and it was all curly in the old Southern accent.
No idea what that is.
But anyway, Dolly Parton is known for that, but she's also known for, again, her role in Hannah Montana, like Nick just said. I don't...
Also, she owns Dollywood in
Oh, I know that.
Tennessee.
I've been to Dollywood, it's weird.
Is that Tennessee?
Yeah, it's in Tennessee. Anyway, she's an interesting artist. Not sure if she's going to get the same level of Taylor Swift as I mentioned in my comparison, but, you know, she has a chance.
I know who she is. I just never listened to any of her music.
She has a chance just because of her popularity, but the difference between her and Swift is the fact that her popularity comes from an older audience, and it's a very generational audience, versus Taylor Swift is cross-generational. We have a professor here, Michael Mozil, who loves to pick on the boomer generation. He's a great teacher. But he is one himself, but he loves Taylor Swift. He is a Taylor Swift apologist, and he has her albums.
Apologist?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Basically, like,
fan,
if
a
you
stan.
asked him anything about Taylor Swift, he'd answer it in 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. No, he loves his Taylor Swift. And
Well, Taylor
we
Swift
also
is-
stand Michael Mozil. But, yeah.
Basically, like, if you said who sings the song Me, like, he'd be like, Taylor Swift.
Well,
He wouldn't
technically,
hesitate.
Isn't
Like,
that a duo between Taylor Swift and
Brandon Urie, yeah.
Brandon Urie?
But I just use that as an
Anyway.
example.
Anyway.
Back on topic.
Coming
In
from the one who
best-
gets off topic the most.
In best rock song, there are some very famous names, including Weezer, AC/DC, and the Foo Fighters. Some of these artists have not been releasing much lately. What do you think their chances are of a comeback? Do you think they even still have a chance? Why?
I think one of the actual the Foo Fighters. It's interesting that they were mentioned here because didn't one of the main vocalists pass away?
No, it was the drummer.
The drummer passed away. Yeah. So that to me is an example of how old these bands are getting. They're aging out in terms of what they can do.
Actually, yeah. Are there any good modern rock bands?
Not that I can think of.
Well,
I think there's a bunch of small indie ones, and those
Well,
are the
like
only.
you could argue.
Is major rock dying?
You could argue kind of
Kinda.
that like bands sort of like Fall Out Boy could fall under rock, but not necessarily.
No,
but
they're
like
not rock.
some of, you could argue with some songs they do face towards rock, but aren't necessarily actually
Yeah, but
full
Fall Out
on
Boy is
rock.
basically dead now too. They don't really release a lot of music.
Fall Out Boy, the last American Psycho was like the last major album I remember listening to from Fall Out Boy.
Did
I mean,
they release one after that though?
you could say 21 Pilots is kind of that way.
21 Pilots is not rock.
No.
Some of their songs are. Some I didn't. I literally said kind of that way, guys. The main point is there are some bands that you could put under that category, but most of their music wouldn't be. For one, for two, most of the good rock bands right now are indie, and they're usually lesser known. There's no, to Omar's point, there is no major overarching set of bands like in the 80s and 90s era that kind of ruled over the category of rock. They're either dying out or fairly non-existent.
And I would argue that 21 Pilots is mostly hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying some of their songs were
Also,
rock,
I do like 21 Pilots, but I do like a lot of the older work more than the new work.
which is fair. Some of their songs lean towards rock, is what I was saying. I
Alright.
wasn't saying all of their music is.
I agree with you. I don't think many of these people even have a chance at a comeback.
Yeah.
Mostly because I just think they're not well known anymore.
Well, I think even they're well known. I mean, they're on T-shirts in Target for $10 right across on Fenway.
Yeah, but a $10 t-shirt, not well known.
They're well known as a band, is what I'm saying. They still
Yeah.
have that star power. The problem is they're nothing more than that anymore. And
how
also,
about you, Nick?
They're aging out.
Yeah. I feel like also just like with how old these bands are getting too, attempts at a comeback would be kind of difficult, especially with like the sad event with the Foo Fighters where the drummer passed away. I feel like if you like just sadly enough have like one of like an event like death happen, like it would be extremely hard because of just the original band members not being there.
Like Five Finger Death Punch, which is also a really good rock band.
Yeah, it is.
But again, died out. Not really well known.
Yeah, a lot of people have passed on.
Anyway, John Batista is nominated for the most Grammy Awards of this year. He has 11 nominations, including Best R&B Album. How many of these nominations do you think he will take? I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really know the name John Batista too much or too well.
Okay, John Batista. Yeah, so John Batista, you'd know as the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
What guy?
The blue guy.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mary Poppins?
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, Mary Poppins.
Their version of Hulk. Drax.
Oh, the Rock dude?
Yes,
Oh,
that was Dave
that was John
Batista.
Batista?
Oh wait, I'm thinking Dave Batista. Ha ha ha. Not John Batista. I was very confused. I was like, did he
Are you
start
okay?
did he start a music career? I'm very tired. Anyway, Jonathan Michael Batista, a completely different person. I was very confused. I thought someone said Dave Batista. That's my bad. Like, when did he start a music career?
I
But
was gonna say. What are you talking about?
John Batista, I don't know. I don't listen to much of his music, or I haven't seen much of his music. I know
I don't know the name.
he was on one of the nice voice crack. He was on one of the late night shows, but I don't know much other than that. I think I've seen his music. It might be one of those things where I've heard it and I just don't link it to him.
That could be true, but I don't recognize the name or what he looks like, so I don't really have much to say about this. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I haven't really. I may have heard one or two of his songs. This was really more or less because he's the most nominated out of this year's.
What are the songs that are nominated or albums?
His album "We Are" is nominated. I know that. I'm trying to think of what the other ones were.
Well, moving on. In the best country songs, there are many famous and household names. This includes Thomas Rhett,
Chris Stapleton, Casey Musgraves, and Maren Morris. With only 2 other artists nominated, what are the chances you see one of these new artists take home this category?
Nick, go ahead.
I think let's start with you, Zach. You're the guest, so guest should always go first.
That's not how you've been doing it, but okay. That's not how you've been doing it.
Oh, I
at
know.
all.
I know.
You're just bullying him at this point. It's so unfair.
Nick's full of shit.
Hey, no swearing.
Sorry, no swearing. Beep.
We have to cut those out.
Let's
make sure to cut those out, Omar.
It's not going to be that hard, though, because you can tell that this is a rambling section. It's going to be easy to cut once you hear it. You should cut the Dave Bautista part, too, because I completely misheard.
Nah, that's staying in.
That's staying in there.
Oh, no.
It's all staying in because I just put it as age restricted on YouTube and then I can just have a couple swears.
Ooh. In that case, so in best country song,
Oh my god.
I don't know.
You could get a shut down.
Thomas Rhett, Chris Stapleton, I know a little bit more of. Casey Musgraves. Chris Stapleton and Casey Musgraves are probably 2 of the ones that I actually know.
You should know Maren Morris, too.
What
Maren
song did
Morris
Maren
I've
Morris
heard
make?
of.
She came out with one of the biggest songs of the year in 2018.
What was the
I've
song?
heard of her, I just don't listen to her music much.
The Middle.
Oh!
No.
That was with
Wait.
Zed. It was Maren Morris and Zed.
Am I thinking of a different middle song?
You're thinking of the one by Zed, I think. 'Cause
No.
You listen to...
That's with Maren Morris.
She's in that?
Yes. It's Zed, Maren Morris, and Graham.
Alright, we stand
She's
Maren
the
Morris
one
for
that's
just being in a Zed
saying-
song.
Oh,
That's
I
all.
was thinking of The Middle by Jim Eatworld.
No, you've heard... because you listen to electronic. You've definitely heard the middle.
I don't think so.
You definitely.
Is that the one that, like, right over there?
Yeah.
Take a seat.
Please, no more singing.
You're one to talk.
Hello, my baby, my darling, whatever the fuck. Sorry. I'm not trying to swear. It just came out.
Oh my god, Zach. Why are you like this?
Can you say demonetized?
We don't even get monetized, so it doesn't even matter.
Omar.
Ben's gonna listen to this and be like,
I'm sorry.
Zach, why are
Ben,
you like this?
Ben, if you hear this, in my defense, this was my 1st
You're
time
just
on
not
it.
paying attention.
This was my first time on it, and so I just, yeah.
He's doing it on purpose.
I need to get used to it. Anyway. Yeah, I have an excuse. This is my first time in here. These include Thomas Rhett, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, Maren Morris, I know her from the middle, but, like, on her own and doing her own music, I don't really remember her that often. It's kind of sad because when artists like her, that have an amazing voice, by the way, she's an amazing vocalist, but when she goes under the label of Zed, often the FT or the featuring side doesn't get as recognized. Hopefully she's, again, I don't know much of her music now, but hopefully she's come into her own, because I know she's a great vocalist. And maybe she will do something great in Best Country. I'm not sure, though.
Alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap us up this section here. When we get back from the break, we're going to be doing performances. Stop it.
Stop it or else we'll kick you out the door.
We're going to do performances when we get back after this break.
You won't get your bag back either.
Yeah.
Alright, and welcome
Because
back
it
to our
costs
show. We are going to be talking about performances now. So, in the best pop solo performance, there are many famous names and household names. If we were based this on popularity, which it most likely is anyway, is it more popular you are at the release of your songs make you more likely to win?
Zach, why don't you go first?
Sorry.
So, Zach?
Yep. Anyway, basically, I think most songs that end up being more popular over time are more likely to win. Like we've said before, these award shows tend to be popularity contests. And so if someone is, in general, topping the charts, if they're top on anywhere from a sound on TikTok to Spotify, then they're going to be pretty popular in the award show.
Yeah, I do agree with that as well. Because the more popular an artist is, the more what's the word am I thinking of? The more likely they are to win, because more people will vote and they're like, oh, I know that name, or oh, I know this name, you know? Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I agree.
That's all you're gonna say? Okay.
Yeah, because you guys basically covered everything for this, so like, there's not much more to say.
Alrighty. In the best pop solo side group performance, we see names that are almost brand new and the ones that have been in the business for a very long time. Do you think that the groups and solo artists have a heyday, that this means that they are popular and slowly over time they will start to drop out of the public's eye?
Nick?
Well, I think it has potential to do it, but it doesn't. I do think that they probably would fade out, and I don't think that the Grammys would bring it back, per se. But I just think they would just fade out because of just in general.
Yeah. So bands like, if we're talking about bands like Foo Fighters and AC/DC,
They've already faded out almost entirely.
They're pretty much gone. Now, I will say, again, in terms of the rock scene, there aren't a lot of modern bands, unless they're indie, that have taken that category by storm. There's an old guard, and there's indie bands. That's about it.
Okay. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
You all.
Nick can finally talk now. He's no longer preoccupied. What? You kept making me go first.
Yeah, because
Alright.
you're the guest.
Alrighty, well, if you're not gonna give us an answer,
Just move on to the next.
alright, best band says that Foo Fighters and AC/DC are up for best rock performances. Do you think these bands have somewhat fallen out of public eye or has started to successfully come back? Have they not? Why? Well, you would just start this. Or do you want me to do it?
I mean, we technically already just
Yeah,
answered
we already
it.
did cover that, so
So,
no.
So moving on.
sadly, we see artists come and go, and one artist, the Foo Fighters, nominated in the rock category, just lost a band member, their drummer. We've kind of already covered this one as well, so...
But do you think it affects what they release?
Well, of course. It's
I mean,
always
yeah.
going to affect, because once you lose a band member, not only are they going to be very, very sad about it, because,
Well, anybody would be sad if a death happened, Omar. It's just
Exactly.
like fact.
but not only that, the new drummer won't be the same play style, or maybe up to the same speed, or have different skills that drummer didn't have,
They won't have this...
It's almost a lot like 7 White Stripes.
Yeah.
That drummer isn't. They're actually brothers and sisters. They will only play with each other because her drumming style is unique, and that it helps them get like the beat that he wants. He have tried other drummers, but he doesn't like any of the other ones besides her. So
Yeah, and most of the time it's not because they're not good drummers. It just doesn't, vibe well. I will say, again, any band, it's kind of like a cover band. There are other people out there that can cover the same music or create new music based on the style that they're used to, but it's never going to feel exactly the same as the original core members that made them popular.
true. Because there's also a lot of remakes. Like Weezer remade Africa by Toto. I still like the original way better than the remake.
Yeah, and there are some cases where new blood will come in and actually help revitalize them or
Yes.
cause them to make experimental music or try different genres. It's not like it doesn't happen.
And there are some cases where the remake is more popular than the original, but I can't think of the name of that song right now.
Ooh, There's a few, like if we're going on the 21 Pilots side of things, Mute Math worked with, which they have a very similar music style, worked with 21 Pilots to redo Heathens, which Heathens was extremely popular after the release of Suicide Squad.
I didn't actually like Heathens too much.
Yeah, even if the movie wasn't popular, that song was popular.
I
Regardless of what you think
like
about
that
it, it was a popular song.
Because I listened to a lot of the 21 Pilots song, and that one has a completely different feel from a lot of the other songs that he released during that time period.
Yeah.
So, I didn't like it.
All right. Well, now we know Omar's opinion.
All right, moving on. Artists like Carrie Underwood and Jason... Is that Aldean?
Yeah.
Aldean has been in the country world for years, working with so many different artists from so many different genres. They have worked together to make a song, If I Didn't Love You. They are up against a few other famous faces such as Miranda Lambert in Best Country Solo Side Group Performances. Do you think in performance categories is based on how popular the song is to the public, how popular it is to the judges picking the winners, or why do you think so?
Or do you think it's based off of their ability to perform?
Well, Carrie Underwood's ability to perform, are we talking about just like vocal-wise or stage-wise as well?
Vocal and stage presence.
Because vocal presence, I think Carrie Underwood has some pretty good vocals.
Arguably, probably to me, I'd say she's probably one of the best female in country.
Yeah. I don't know about her stage performances. I haven't seen any of her stage performances, but her vocals are really good. I haven't heard too much about Jason Aldean. Why does that sound so familiar? Aldean. Oh, I know why, but I can't say it right now. So I think performance will help, and I do think Carrie Underwood has a good chance because of her vocals alone.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carrie Underwood, like we kind of said before, with, what was her name in the Zed song again?
Maren
Morris. Vocals alone can sometimes take you a long way. But just being under another artist, under their featured, doesn't make you popular yourself, right? It makes them popular. So in Zed's case, it made Zed popular, not Maren Morris. So it's possible that she could keep up with competition, and again, she has an amazing voice and whatnot. Jason Aldean, also an amazing vocalist, but I don't know if, with all the indie singers and solos and whatnot, I don't know if they can keep up.
Alright, so in Best R&B Performance, Her is the one favored to win. This artist is going up against people like Justin Bieber. Do you think there can be underdogs like Bieber, who is more known for pop, to take the category like this? Are there artists better than him, like Her? Why? Okay.
Is this one favorite to win? I thought someone else was going to start, but I guess it's going to be me again.
I can start if you want.
I mean, I looked at you.
Well, yeah, but I was looking at the question. So
God, Omar.
staring like daggers at me doesn't help me see it if my eyes aren't looking up.
Exactly, Omar.
In Best R&B Performance. So, personally, I don't know. Bieber is a little strange to me. I think Bieber's changed a lot over the years, not only in style, but the kind of music that he produces. I don't really know what to say about him.
His music style has changed quite a lot, and I personally don't like a lot of his style anymore. I didn't like it back then, but I don't like it even more now. But yeah, I think Her probably has a decent favor to win if we're going against Justin Bieber.
Yeah. The only Her he has is his Peaches Down in Georgia. Other than that, I don't know.
And I don't like that song at all. Mostly just because of how many swears are in it. Very hard to... They don't have a clean version. Anyway, that's the end of the show.
Omar enjoys Kids Bop.
No, I don't.
As always.
No, it's just that when I play songs, they have to be the clean version because of the events.
And because
that's the end of the show.
We're all joking. It's fine.
And Zach doesn't know how not to swear.
Join us next week.
At least I know how to talk.
Excuse
Okay,
you,
guys.
I know how to talk too.
Guys, come on. Let me exit out the show. So that's the end of the show. Where we talk about the Grammys. Join us next week where we have a miscellaneous, and we're gonna have 2 guests on this time. It's gonna be Zach. He's gonna be coming back for us, and it's gonna be one of our great friends, Wyatt. So tune in for us next time. Have a great day.